Hey, it is your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to the empowered harmonizers, and we're zooming in and focusing in on a very important and interesting topic, and that is understanding the attachment disorder in covert narcissist or overt narcissist individuals. People who have a profound sense of superiority, the good old superiority complex. In fact, they are so addicted to feeling special, as Dr. Craig Melkin states, Harvard medical professor and clinical psychologist at Harvard Medical School. He talks about the high that this covert narcissist will basically become so addicted to feeling special, becoming into a position of superiority or self-importance, that they will do whatever it takes and do more and more and more to keep this feeling of specialness about themselves and their life. And furthermore, that they will resort to even things like exploiting others, being entitled, and using a sense of empathy impairment where they don't really care about the feelings, wishes, desires, needs of others. They just kind of block them out. And they can be very selective when they can be empathetic, but generally it's when they want something in return. And when we talk about the attachment disorder, we're talking about the fact that they just can't relate to others in a healthy manner. And what's so belaying of the understanding, or where a lot of people get this confused, is because oftentimes the people with the most of the most, the best of the best, the highest jobs, the most powerful careers, the most powerful or high profile positions, the best looking people, the people with all the houses, the cars, the clothes, the this, the that, the bank accounts, you name it. These people, where they can have a lot of physical prowess, and they have every reason under the sun to be happy or to be fulfilled and be able to have a give and take with others. Yet these narcissists, even with all of those things that might be chalked up under their belt, they still have an attachment disorder, meaning they have a very difficult time relating to others. They are not able to express healthy attachment, meaning a healthy give and take in relationships. In fact, a lot of people say, well, the narcissist, they must just have such a big ego. The contrary is actually true. These people actually have very little ego. They resort to these things like being entitled, being exploitative, having empathy deficit in order to feel big, large, and in control, and quote unquote special. And so that really is a good telltale sign that you can use as like a rule of thumb for you to know if you are dealing with someone who is narcissistic. And let's just face it, they're just not right for you. They're just oftentimes hurtful people. Despite the fact that they can be very powerful, good looking, have everything the one could possibly dream of and more, this does not a good character make. So a good character to me is always more important. And we talk about recovering through these very difficult or confusing relationships that can leave people bewildering, wondering what just happened. I did everything a great spouse could do. I did everything a great manager could do. I did everything a great employee, a great sibling, wherever it is in the relationship dynamic. And look what happened to me. Look how I was treated. So that should tell you right then and there, it has nothing to do with what you did wrong. You are not the quote unquote crazy one. Is that oftentimes these people have an insecure attachment disorder, meaning that they're not able to be comfortable depending on another. In other words, it makes them very, very queasy and very insecure inside. They do not like the fact of, being able to rest their shoulder on another, being able to share less than glowing emotions, anything that does not make them look great in a status wise. For example, if they're feeling blue, down, or they have health issues, these are the people who shut down. They don't want to tell anyone. This makes them look bad. They're not comfortable with being dependent on others. It attacks their facade, their more than perfect veneer with which they want to put forth into the world, which is very controlled. And this is just how they operate. And you would say, well, this is a time to share these feelings. If you're not feeling good, if you're not feeling well, you have a question, you have something, maybe you just lost your job, or you're wondering how to handle something, and you want to discuss this with somebody, that is the sign of like a healthy attachment, when you can open up your most vulnerable feelings and just share them and say, like, I need help, I'm wondering what you think, or let me run this by you, or I can't believe this happened, look what happened to me. And you can share that with someone. It's called self-disclosure, being vulnerable. Oh my God, you're not going to believe what happened. I just did this, I just made this and this mistake, I just lost my job, or I just lost my health. And these are moments of vulnerability. But in healthy attachment or healthy relationships, you can go to that with a friend, or someone who you can have a good relationship with, and they're not going to feel put out. They're not going to think less of you. It's not going to mar you in their eyes. And that is a sign of a healthy attachment. But a covert narcissist, has an insecure attachment disorder, meaning that they are very uncomfortable being vulnerable, seeming less than perfect, discussing things. So they're very bottled up, and you never really get to feel like you know them because they're hiding so much. Or when the going gets tough, and that's when you find the covert narcissist will be the one to cheat. You find that they have done something behind your back, or spoken badly about you, and yet you are supposed to be their number one confidant. This is the tricks and the trade of the covert narcissist, is that when the rubber hits the road, and you are they need to be dependent on, or they need someone to depend on, they're going to alienate others. They are very uncomfortable feeling, just having basic human needs, and they might just try to push you away, even though this is the time when they need people the most. And then people are jumping through more hoops or trying to convince them, hey, it's okay that we can get together. I would be happy to do this for you. These are the times when their insecurity is tested. Oftentimes, this is when they yell, they rage, they're insecure, and you're like, all I was trying to do was trying to help. So you can see that's a very good point, or a good red flag for you to understand if you are dealing with a covert narcissist who has an insecure attachment disorder. Because they have such a need for control and power and to be superior. Like, I never have, a chink in the chain. I never have a crack in the leather. They're very afraid of seeming normal, just like the masses. In fact, they will do whatever it takes to stand out from the crowd, even if it means, not getting the help that they need, or not going to see the doctor, or not doing the doctor's orders. Because of entitlement, I shouldn't have to do this and this physical therapy. I shouldn't have to eat this and this food. I shouldn't have to undergo this procedure. I'm better than that. So you'll see these people be very resistive when it comes to times of need, even physical need, especially though emotional need, emotional vulnerability, where their other feelings could be, very tender or very delicate. They don't want to, be seen to be grieving. They want to only put forth their best foot forward, part of, what we call persona management or public persona control. And so, it really makes it interesting, because then these people are not really very open to others. Do you see how they're not emotionally available then? That is what that means, is when you can't go to them with these normal things, these normal feelings or experiences, they're kind of like, yeah, that's weird. Yeah. Why don't you just get some Clearasil for that and like pretend that you don't know me? I mean, these are the people who are going to make you feel strange, weird for having normal things. I've known narcissists who all they want to do is go out to eat. And, what's wrong with you if you love to cook? Your house always smells like you're cooking, or, why do you want to cook this? Why don't you just want to go out? And oftentimes it's very unhealthy choices, and it's healthier to cook. It shows self-reliance to be able to cook and to have gourmet foods and make some wonderful, things and do grilling or whatever it is. but to them, they'd rather have someone work for them. And so it's very interesting, all the tangents and the ways that this can be expressed in relationships, and you might find some that you can relate to. And so, yeah, if you feel like kind of like there's a small repertoire of all the human emotions that they share, especially the more poignant ones, like walking for a beach or walking in the forest preserve or doing these other like romantic things, like they're not really emotional available. It's because they're like, I got to be working on my next CD. I got to be working on my next film. I have to be working on my next photo shoot or whatever it is. They're very willing to push away relationships for sake of their own self-importance. So you'll see that becomes very imbalanced, and you feel that they never really got you, or they never really and then it made you feel guilty or wrong for having these needs, when there's nothing wrong with having these needs, or the need to be close or intimate, or have that feeling of transparency, or closeness between people, because that's what transparency is. It's the ability to be transparent, open, honest, be able to clear the air, discuss things that aren't always the finer parts of life, things like financial problems, relationship problems, sexual relation problems, whatever it is you might be grappling with, and you're trying to discuss it with them, and you feel like you're not getting anywhere, that you've just spin your wheels. So that oftentimes is very important for you to see that those are where a lot of the issues start cropping up. And they do then replace those feelings of openness with feelings of superiority. So again, we see that dynamic. You take a step down the rung when you try to be real. So believe me, the power is in being real. The power is in being open. The power is in being transparent. The power is in being clear, and not falling for or being seduced by, the superior energy field with which they tend to put out into the world. In other words, it's just an advertisement. It's just a show. It's just a sham. It is not the reality. It is not the real deal. It is just these people trying to control their persona management, and they need to do this to feel one up, special, better than others. And this oftentimes causes them to alienate and push away the best people that could be there for them in their life. I hope you can see this clearly now. It is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today, and I hope that these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.